Behold, the Pontiac Aztek in 2001 when GM said, what of a car? But also a tent, but also a cooler. But a mistake? We're here today to look at the Pontiac Aztek here on MTM. It's a very interesting vehicle. A lot of people don't like it. It has gained a cult following, though, due to a popular TV series, which, might make it better or worse depending on some things. We have a few facts, but it's mostly opinion, and that's sort of what the series is going to be all about. It is sort of my opinion on the vehicle that we're talking about that day. And then at the end, we'll put a rank on it, and, in a couple years or whatever, we can look back at all of the ranked vehicles and see which one might be the actual worst, according to my opinion. Now, some might ask, what are your qualifications? I have none. This is just me. No one else. My opinions. So yes. Starting off with the Pontiac Aztek. Aztek overview. Manufacturer General Motors. Production from July 2000 to December 2004. Model years 2001 to 2005. Assembly in Mexico. The designer was Tom Peters. I don't know what he was smoking. It is a mid-size crossover SUV. Before they were really popular. Body style, 5-door SUV. Engine layout was the front engine, front-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive. The platform was a unibody slash a GMT 250. The powertrain is the V6 3.4 LA1 engine with a 4-speed automatic transmission. GM expected to sell like 75,000 of these things. I've got the numbers somewhere. Yeah, they expected to sell 75,000 per year, and they needed to sell at least 30,000 annually to make back their investment. Yeah, wow. So the launch year at the Pontiac Aztek was 2000. Yeah, they sold 11,000 vehicles. Then the next year, they sold 27,000 vehicles. The best year on record was 2002 with 27,000. The vehicle never broke even. That's not good. So they basically take a giant hit on this, which is actually very interesting. No one liked this car, as you can see from the images on the screen. It didn't suit the time period. This is the early 2000s. We're coming, right out of the 90s. 2001 hasn't happened yet. It's been a while since we've had any decent looking cars for the most part. And Pontiac gave us this. A SUV futuristic for the time period thing. Yeah. I want to know what the designers were smoking, because I want some. It's an SUV before the SUV craze had started, but then they gave us this crossover SUV thing. It's built on a minivan chassis, actually, which is quite interesting. And then they just destroyed it. I personally like the back end more than the front end. I think the back end has some cool lineage and has that nice slope edge to it. But the front end, just you chop off the front end, redesign it, put just a standard whatever on front end on it, and we'll call it better. So the launch year, which is technically 2001, could have you know how the car companies work. You can buy a 2001 model you can buy next year's model today. They wanted $21,000 for this in 2001. That's encroaching on modern car prices, which are $40,000 depending on where you go and what you shop for. And then in 2002 they dropped it to 20,000. And it kind of kept in that low 20,000 range for its entire lifespan. And depending on certain trim levels and options you could bump it up to 28,000. Now, this car was marketed to young Gen Xers, like in their, like 25, 30, somewhere in there, and they're kind of outdoorsy activity, kind of like the Honda Element was. But the issue every car company makes when they do something like this, they market it to these specific audiences, and those specific audiences, in this case the young Gen Xers at the time, can't afford it. They just can't. Well, where is a 24-year-old going to come up with $20,000 to go pay for this thing? Well, they're not. They're going to go put it on finance and credit it out for 10 years or whatever stupid loan you can get these days. That's the issue of every car company. Now, what most people will do, they'll go get a nice used car for, say, half of whatever they're looking at, and credit that out for 6 years. At least that way, it's a little bit less, but it's still crazy. And it was also priced significantly higher than competing vehicles. After the 2001 model, the GT model was dropped in price. The price was slashed. Okay, that's good. But it still never did what it was supposed to do. And then, obviously, the car was featured through a tie-in with the sci-fi show Dark Angel. Never heard of that one. That ran from 2000 to 2002. But the show that everybody knows it's from, and what gave it a little bit of popularity, actually, was Breaking Bad. Fabulous show. Basically, they wanted to portray Walter White as just this absolute loser, and they figured, what car could we give him? A car that nobody wanted. No one liked this car, so it's like, we'll give him a Pontiac Aztek, and it was perfect. A crew member said, one of the perfect examples of car casting in TV. Here's another interesting tidbit. The paint job in Breaking Bad was actually a custom paint job in that grayish green beige tone to match the character's original job as a mild mannered high school chemistry teacher, which that's actually a very interesting thing. You change the paint color of the car, make it a little bit more boring even. Because everyone knows, you see a bright yellow car coming down the road, that looks interesting. That has a little bit of pop and flair to it, because car companies don't know how to paint a car. I mean, come on, look at the road. Everything is black, gray, or white for the most part. And you see something interesting coming down the road, it immediately pops and gives you flair. So if we paint the car a boring color, make it a boring beige color, everyone's just gonna, even hate it more. So the people there at Sci-Fi, when they were making this show, did an absolutely fantastic job. Fabulous job. In February 2001, a red Aztek served as the pace car for the Daytona 500. That's actually a very interesting fact. Why? I guess Pontiac really tried to market these things, and they just couldn't. In its final model year, the Aztek gained hands-free operation of OnStar system. If you don't know what that is, that's fine. If you do, great. It doesn't really exist anymore. The exterior color offerings had changed. The Aztek was discontinued after 2005, and was replaced with other SUVs that look exactly like modern SUVs. Some trash basically. Other Pontiac things that no longer exist. The Aztek production line in Ramos Alpes, Mexico, was retooled to produce the Chevrolet HHR, which basically they didn't change too much at factory. It's like any ugly car, give it to us. So, where does the Pontiac Aztek fall on my personal chart of beauty and whatnot? Well, it it's actually quite interesting because it has a 3.4 liter V6. I do like a good V6 engine. It gives I personally find it a good power to weight ratio. I V4s are fine. I find the V4 a four-cylinder engine. I find that I have to hit it harder to get it to go the way I want it to. A V8, I have never driven a V8 at this point, but that just seems like it's using a lot of gas. So it's so hard to say because overall, there's a part of me that wants to hate this car a lot, but there's also a part of me that, you know, I see it. It's Walter White's car. It's Breaking Bad. There are some good aspects to it. There's a lot of interesting ideas that they tried for this car, which I would actually like to see come back in a way, like a cooler built into it, a tent module. There's a lot of different cool ideas, but I doubt that we'll ever see anything sort of like that again, at least in a mainstream car. I'm going to have to rate this. For the engine, a V6 gasoline 3.4 liter, and the transmission of 4-speed, I'll give that out of a score out of 10, probably a good 6 to 7, probably 6.5. Aesthetics, oh, that's got to be a 4. No, a 3. Yeah, 3. And then for the overall, just, an overall cultural presence, from Breaking Bad, how people thought of it after that, and sort of, the cultural presence, obviously. That's going to have to be actually an 8, because you don't see too many of these anymore, obviously. It's been out of production for 21 years at this point. But there's still something about it, especially because the show was so popular. It's gotten a cult following behind just the car. And I'm sure there are people out there that say looks fantastic. I'm not one of those people. And I bet there's a very, very small Reddit community, probably about 8 people that think that. So we will tally the numbers, and here they are now. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Hot Takes and Horsepower here at the Motors to Motion YouTube channel. Stay tuned for much more.